My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. I would like to talk about the fast track to destruction for this country, the United States of America. We are rapidly gaining the ire, the rage of nations around the world, and I believe rightfully so in many respects. Right now, we have so-called leadership representing us, speaking on our behalf. They're acting like a bunch of thugs, a bunch of gangsters. It wasn't very long ago we had Hillary Clinton coming out uttering the phrases, "We came, we saw, he died." Speaking of Muammar Gaddafi, when he was butchered at the hands of a U.S., UN, NATO-led no-fly zone that was later broadcast, this grisly butchering of Muammar Gaddafi was broadcast on YouTube. Now we have Leon Panetta coming out, our Secretary of Defense, speaking on behalf of the most powerful military on the planet and speaking on behalf of the people of this nation. Leon Panetta coming out issuing yet another threat to a sovereign nation. Speaking to Assad, if you want to protect yourself, now think about this. If somebody walked up to you and made this threat against you or your family, how would you respond? Panetta went on, if you want to protect yourself and your family, get the hell out. Get out of Syria. This was our Secretary of Defense's threat, thuggery, towards Assad in Syria. Now, I'm not an apologist for Assad, nor am I an apologist for Gaddafi. I am, however, what I believe to be a patriot. I don't want our blood, our treasure, being spent invading sovereign nations to implement our form of democracy. They can handle their own problems. They have their own resources. If they want a revolution, they can stage their own revolution. If we truly want to let democracy flourish and let representative republics spring up in this region of the world, they must happen on their own, not at the will of the power elite. And every time we are sold this patriotic garbage, we find out later that that's exactly what it was, a bunch of garbage. So we have our so-called representatives and leaders going out, acting like gangsters on our behalf, and at the same exact time, in the floor of the Senate today, this week, we're debating what? Cybersecurity 2012. We thought this was beat. It's far from beat, because the powers that be are not going to stop until they achieve tyranny 101, which is control the information, period, plain and simple. Cybersecurity Act 2012 is on the floor of the Senate. It's got all kinds of support, and more than likely will be turned into law. But that isn't going to stop Frank Lautenberg from using the crisis of people being butchered in Aurora recently to add his own little piece to this legislation. The cybersecurity legislation now has a anti-gun rider attached to it. So Lautenberg could get his gun ban attached to the cybersecurity ban. And what's terrifying about this is we're so brought up over the last generation of governed by crisis, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, that this will probably pass. This will probably go through. We're governing by crisis. We're governing for the next crisis, for the next war, for the next bailout, for the next engineered event, and this will probably just pass right on through. We are so used to crisis and we're so used to panic and fear that we will buy absolutely anything sold to us by the mainstream media. But the fact is, what we're going to get at the end of this, and soon I believe, is we are going to achieve the rage of the rest of the world. Because all of this is being done in our names, we will be held accountable for the death and destruction that is going on around this planet in the name of so-called spreading democracy. And at the exact same time, if you want to stand up to tyrannical government in this country, tyrannical forces in this country, they're working nonstop to make sure you do not have the ability to do that. Cybersecurity Act 2012, control and destroy the free flow of information and the free exchange of ideas on the internet. Cybersecurity Act 2012, let's have an assault ban rider on there, so if the people truly do want to stand up, the people do want to defend themselves against tyranny, they will not have the ability to do so. This is the country we live in. This is why we are turning in to the enemy of the world. Stories are attached. That's all I got.